Hey everybody, this is Dr. Kyle with Columbia River Chiropractic, bringing you your next tip for Tuesday. I think this is our first tip for Tuesday of the year, so I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up that we're going to refine our tip for Tuesdays this upcoming year and hopefully in the foreseeable future to be more relevant as far as just a simple tip that you guys can apply to your life. And some of the other things that we would typically show with our tip for Tuesdays, like adjustments or how we would approach treatment, we'll keep those to separate videos. So just so you guys know, we're kind of refining some of the message that we're trying to send out to you. So what we're going to cover today is the autonomic nervous system, and then a specific portion of the autonomic nervous system. So think about it this way. We have our conscious nervous system that we control, and then we have our subconscious nervous system that it kind of is on autopilot all the time. And that gets broken down into two different branches called our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic. Our sympathetic nervous system is classically our fight or flight portion of our nervous system. So if something scares you or shocks you, you kind of go into that eyes dilated, heart starts going fast, and you kind of feel that sensation like you need to absolutely leave the room. So that's one portion of our autonomic nervous system. Our other portion is our parasympathetic. And this is specifically what we're going to talk about today. Our parasympathetic is our rest and digest portion of our autonomic nervous system. And why this one's so important, because in today's world, where we're not out in a position where we're having a tiger or a lion chase us, where we would need that fight or flight, we have all these little stressors that are around us all the time, whether it be electronics, social media, just lots of stuff that our system isn't necessarily programmed to, and kind of creates a stress response in our bodies and increases our cortisol. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have heard of our stress hormone, cortisol. What typically happens, what our body's programmed for, is to have a balance between this rest and digest and this fight or flight. And because we're in today's world so overstimulated on that sympathetic nervous system, we really need some other ways that we can tap into this rest and digest, different ways to kind of stimulate it. Now, our primary way of doing that is through what's called the vagus nerve, which is a very special nerve that comes off our brain directly. And you can see in this chart, if Marcy kind of zooms in here, this is where the vagus nerve, it's this green guy right here, starts. And you can see that it kind of comes down all the way down here and kind of branches out a little bit. But if we start up a little sooner, you actually see where it branches off right about here and runs down and has a connection to our heart, to our lungs, stomach, liver function, pancreas, adrenal glands, and even our intestines. So it has a major component as far as helping to balance out our body when it's stressed and when it's not stressed. So we're going to give you 3 quick little tips that you can do to stimulate your vagus nerve, which can really help to calm down your body, especially if you're feeling really anxious or just kind of jittery in general. Probably the easiest one that you can do is hum. Whatever tune that you want to do. That's just a good way to get some vibration to that area of the vagus nerve that causes a good bit of stimulation. The second one would be to do some nice, slow exhale breaths. And as you're exhaling, much like you'd hear somebody doing yoga, you kind of make almost a humming noise as well. It's kind of like a bearing down as you're breathing out can really cause a little more vibration to that vagus nerve. And if you have a little more time, maybe have a glass of water handy. One of the best things you can do is gargle. So just tipping that head back, putting some water in there and just doing a little bit of gargling can really stimulate that whole parasympathetic process and get you to calm down. That's why it's really good for when you feel sick and like your immune system's maybe a little stressed, especially this time of year. But between those 3 things, it gives you some good options to stimulate that vagus nerve. And last but not least, this is something we see very often here in our clinic, adjustments, chiropractic adjustments, especially the right ones that are catered towards that area of the spine and the neck, can really make a big difference as far as stimulating that vagus nerve. Very often when I have people down on the treatment table and I'm up here doing work around their skull and their neck, you can actually hear their stomach start to gurgle. Like you can actually hear a little bit of we're getting that rest and digest pathway to kick on. So I know this was a little lengthy, but I wanted to kind of grab a broad spectrum of our autonomic nervous system, break it down to something that's very applicable to us. and hopefully give you guys a little tip going into the week to help balance out some of your stress load. I'm Dr. Kyle, Columbia River Chiropractic. Thanks for watching.